Hi there, Virgo, and welcome back to Bon Echo Tarot. I am here with a whole new set of videos, all based around the blood moon eclipse on July 27th. That's tomorrow for me, but it'll be today for you if you're watching, or another time, and hopefully this will be helpful to you. So the interesting thing about this eclipse as well is that it kicks off Mercury retrograde. So astrologers everywhere are sounding the alarms that this is a time to pay attention. So I've been going to my regular sources for astrology information to get an idea of the weather, what it is that we're being supported in, and what it is that's challenging us at this time. And I find that, there's so many astrologers out there, and they're all great. Like, seriously, astrology is this infinite, vast set of patterns that we can reference and get a lot of insight into stuff that's happening now. So I normally go to Astrology King, Astro Mojo, Michelle Knight, and Aquarius Papers. Those are sort of the core astrology sites that I go to get a lot of information. Much of it I don't understand because I am not an astrologer, but I am in always eternally fascinated by it. So the thing about this eclipse and its relationship with Mercury retrograde, I don't think is any accident. And it seems to be a consensus out there that at this time we are definitely closing an old chapter in our lives and starting a whole new chapter. So with leaving things behind, we have things like grief to process. We have old habits to let go of that aren't going to fit in with whatever new paradigm we're stepping into. So anything that's had us stuck up until now, anything that's holding us back from embracing a new life is going to get shaken up with this eclipse. Whether it's you or someone around you. I mean, Uranus is involved in this. Anything can happen. Everybody's kind of on the edge of their seat to see what this eclipse can mean, not only for the collective, but also for various individuals. Because we're all at the peak of our own transformation. And we have no idea where we're going yet. At least I don't. I mean, I think some of the signs maybe a little bit more ahead in their process than others. But this eclipse and this process of changing things is going to set up a lot of contrasts. And in that contrast, we're going to feel a lot of tension. And then through that tension, we're going to become creative. So because everything is so tense, we're all being tested to stay cool and practice grace under pressure. So the things that we need to watch for is Mars. Mars's aspects to most of us is actually doing a really good thing. It's giving us a lot more energy in terms of confidence and being able to be assertive. But because those energies are so high, depending on the circumstances, assertiveness can quickly turn to aggression. And violence can erupt quite easily in situations under these energies. And so we have to pick our battles wisely. And we have to take care of ourselves. Because if you're doing the work and you're continuing along and you see other people aren't coping as well, it might be a good idea to step back from their process. Because anything that you get engaged with right now in terms of drama or aggression, things that are not so graceful, are going to take a lot longer to clean up than normally. And if you are being mindful and paying attention to the scenarios that are in front of you, and if you stick with it through the process of Mercury retrograde, by the time you get to the next eclipse, because there's been 3 in this summer, including tomorrow, that by the time you hit the eclipse on August the 11th, you're going to be able to get a sneak peek over the horizon and see where it is you're headed. Because I think that's what a lot of us, it's like, I know, okay, everything, this stuff is ending. Where am I going now? What does life look like now with these various endings that I'm processing right now? So, in antidote to the harshness of Mars, Venus is supporting us because, as with great change, and most of us, pretty much every sign is going to feel a shift even in their social network. So, so Venus is going to facilitate the forming or the formation of new relationships that are going to be a part of the new story that we're stepping into. So that's kind of the global, that's how it's going to affect everybody in the broad strokes. As far as Virgo goes, these are the notes that I've accumulated as to what's happening for you. So like I said, I've referred to 3 different eclipses this summer. For this year, we've had a total of 5. So with this eclipse, you might want to think back to things that were happening around February 15th of this year, because that was the last eclipse that we had. So that might give you some sort of an idea as to what areas you're going to have to watch out for today and within the next few days. Because, you know, theoretically, while these things can be exact, they're not most of the time. So with these eclipses, the first one that we had, July 12th, that was in your 11th house. So your 11th house is all about your community and your place in it and the relationships that you have, your social network, so to speak. This eclipse is happening, this one on July the 27th, is happening in your 6th house with 6th house, which is your house of health and daily routines. So, Mercury retrograde will be joining the 3rd eclipse in your 12th house, which is your private life, your subconscious. This is the place of your deepest secrets. It's the place of therapy. This is like the most private version of who you are. So, Mercury retrograde happening in your 12th house of private life and the subconscious, it's going to be time for you to retreat and find a balance between reflection and your tendency to overthink things. This is not an intellectual process that you should be doing in the 12th house. The 12th house is anything but intellectual. It is your shadow. It is, a lot of the times it's very difficult to articulate because it's in the subconscious. So this is not a mental place that you should be in for the next 3 weeks. Family is going to be your sanctuary for the next 3 weeks, away from crowds. Crowds are not going to be good for you because you are likely going to be in that state for the most part of overthinking. If that's your lesson as a Virgo, then that's your lesson. There's no place for judgment about it. It's a time to be kind to yourself, especially in this area of your chart. The 12th is really the most private version. There's very few people, if anybody, who knows you well enough to even contribute on any level. This is very much a solo reflective period. Other planetary influences. Saturn is actually not being so much of a teacher with you right now, but adding strength to whatever abilities you have to stay cool. And also, ironically enough, I mean, I didn't even know this was possible, but Uranus, which is the planet of surprise, rebellion, and unexpected, like if somebody's going to be pulling the rug out from underneath you, Uranus is probably going to be behind that. So, Uranus is actually in an aspect for you that's going to support making significant, big, like I'm talking huge changes in your life without much disruption to anything else. So there's a lot of, I was fascinated by that, because usually Uranus is just like, whoop, surprise, whether you like it or not. But it's actually going to make the transition to these major changes in your life a lot easier. Venus is making you more loving, making you more charming right now, and very attractive. So you're likely magnetizing people to you at a time when you really just kind of want to be by yourself. So it could be part of the internal 12th house process that's adding to your mystery and making you more attractive. So I'm going to do 2 spreads, a long one and a short one. The first one will be a full Celtic cross on the eclipse and its effects, and any advice that is going to go along with it. And then I'll do a very quick 3-card reading to look into Mercury retrograde for you. So Virgo's going through some intense times. Lots of self-examination. Because it's about defining, if we're all stepping into a new chapter, it's like, which version of ourselves are we bringing into that? Am I free of old habits and ideas about myself, about the people in my life that I can, and my privatest of thoughts, am I at peace with my life right now? So let's get some insight for Virgo into the eclipse energies, July 27th, 2018, for Virgo. What is this eclipse about for Virgo? Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, I'm going to take it. But this is the center of your reading for the eclipse. 7 of Swords. Not a great way to start. So, the other thing about the 12th house is that not only is it about privacy, but it's about secrets. So let's just see how the rest of the cards come down. There's a lot of stuff private going for you. Okay. So, as you know, we've started your reading with the 7 of Swords. So there's some possible deception happening. Sorry about the glare, folks. Possible deception, secrets, that kind of thing. They could be yours. I'm thinking that's, I'm thinking that's likely what's going on. your obstacle is the Nine of Pentacles. So, perhaps you're not feeling particularly independent right now. Maybe you'd like more time to yourself. Let me see here. And in the foundation of your reading, we have the Knight of Wands. So this could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This could be you, and you could be all fired up about something, and you're moving quickly towards things, but you're not really thinking about them. In the past position, we have the Lovers. So this suggests some sort of intimate relationship with someone from your past that is having an effect on your situation now. Yeah. And then with the Four of Pentacles, this is, again, privacy. Your privacy seems to be really, really important to you right now. And you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about your thoughts. You don't want to talk to anyone. You're just very much within. Your short-term outcome is the Wheel of Fortune. So big changes. Because it's short-term outcome, I'm thinking that it's quite possible that the eclipse itself will trigger really quick change. But as I said before, if Uranus is behind this, it's going to make things easier as opposed to being really disruptive. In the position of you is the Hierophant. So this is traditional values. This is higher education. So you may be seeking out more training for something, going back to school. This also could be a commitment to something, whether it's you in a marriage, you to a job, you to an idea. These are all of the various ways that we can interpret the Hierophant. In your environment is the Ace of Pentacles, so a new beginning of some sort, something really tangible. So there's at least one step of the future process that's coming that you're aware of, and that the people that you're around are also aware of. And then in your hopes and fears, we have the Star card. So there's something secret that you're hoping for, but you're not talking to anybody about it, which is not such a bad idea, because there's a lot of people who say that if you want your dreams to come true, then don't tell them to people. There's something to that. So you might want to look into it. Your final outcome is the King of Cups. So this is someone or you achieving a whole new level of emotional maturity. And that could be as a result of whatever this quick change ends up being all about. But what all of this seems to be doing, it's like there's a maturing happening right now. And it's leading, ultimately, in the hidden ground, we have the Four of Wands. So it's leading to a more secure partnership, foundation, home life, where you feel celebrated, you feel celebrating. But yeah, it's gonna feel sticky at first, but I think that by the time you do the full circle and the changes that the Wheel of Fortune have brought in are gonna make everything go to a very, very good place. So I can't really, I don't feel anything sinister around the secrets that are going on, but there's definitely something very private happening inside Virgo, and will be for the next 3 weeks or so. Yeah. So let's dig into Mercury retrograde and get an idea as to, pardon me, a little sip of water. So what's going to be under review, the best advice for the changes, and a glimpse of your future. So let's take a look at that. This eclipse is very deep for a lot of people. Very, very deep. But it's ultimately leading us all to a much better place, or another little step in our evolution. Think of it that way. We can't do it all at once. We have to do it in bite-sized pieces. And this particular piece is going to be intense. All right. So let's see what's up for Mercury retrograde for Virgo. Your first card, what's under review? Your ability to manifest. Your ability to make things happen. To realize the tools that you have naturally at your disposal internally. And then your second card is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is the best advice for going through the changes. So that is keeping a very mature perspective on things and making sure that you communicate from a well-reasoned place. The dynamics and the energies that are at play right now are very much about reason over passion, passion operating out of a good place of passion as opposed to passion that just gets out of control. So, so this is a good measured response. What we see over the horizon is the Ten of Swords. I'm so sorry to say. I'm not going to leave it at this. I'm going to definitely clarify this card. But if there are secrets lurking in the background, truth will ferret them out through this process, and that may be what this Mercury retrograde period is about, because it is in your 12th house. So so let me get another card and see if we can clarify the Ten of Swords, because I could never leave a reading on the Ten of Swords. I just can't. So There you are, Virgo. It's, there may be some betrayals going on, and it's going to be a time when you're going to have to continue to go within. Let me tell you this much. By the time I do your next reading, I'm going to take a look into more about this internal work, 12th house stuff for Virgo, because this could be kicking off a bit of a stage where you need to become illuminated in order to get through the thought process that landed you here. But I think that I need to pull another card. Ah! Yay! And then once you find that illumination, it may not be that hard. Illumination doesn't necessarily take a lot of work. It just takes a readiness. You need to be ready and willing to be open to that illumination. But there you go. You've got happiness and children and sunshine and optimism coming after that. So you're going to have to decide for yourself what this Mercury retrograde exploration traipsing through your 12th house of your privacy, your subconscious, and possibly some secrets lingering. So, Virgo, I hope you found this reading insightful. Thank you for supporting my channel, and I encourage you to share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please add any comments so that I can see how well this is resonating with you. If it didn't resonate with you today, my apologies, maybe next time. And I wish you all the best. Oh, wait a second, I almost forgot. I'm on Facebook at Bonico Tarot, so if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can send me a message there. I'm also posting articles. I seem to really like this Mercury retrograde thing, so so you might want to check that out and read sort of the article that I have that is focused on these events and goes into a little bit more depth than the things that I've been talking to you about in this video. So take care, Virgo, and we'll see you again.